So I want you to think about the last time a trade went wrong. Not just the red candle, not just a number, but I want you to remember what you set yourself within that moment. Was it, I knew this would happen, or was it, I always do this? Or was it, of course, I lost money in this trade? Because of any version of those words pass through your mind, even quietly or even briefly, I need you to hear this. That thought is not a reaction to your loss. That thought is the cause of that loss. You didn't lose because the market moved against you. Market doesn't care, doesn't know who you are. It doesn't lose because it's against you. You lost because of a belief system that was installed long before you ever heard the word Bitcoin. Made that outcome statistically inevitable. It was going to happen no matter what. So until you find it, name it, and dismantle it, no strategy, and no chart analysis, and no amount of whatever you do will save your portfolio. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what that belief system is, when it came from, and where it came from actually, and the precise 3-step protocol to begin dismantling it. And starting tonight, or as soon as you finish this video, whenever that is. It's called basically the quantum wealth framework. The hidden variable nobody tracks is every serious crypto investor tracks the same variable: market cap, liquidity, on-chain data, sentiment indicators, macro cycles, Bitcoin dominance. These are the variables that fill every Discord server, every Twitter thread, every YouTube channel in the space. And yet 90% of retail investors still lose money consistently across bull markets, across bear markets alike, because they have access to the same data, the same tools, the same charts, and many of them have access to the same alpha. So what is the variable they are not tracking? The variable they carry inside themselves, folks. It's really that simple, but it's not at the same time. Because consider two traders, same portfolio, same entry point, same market conditions. One exits with profit, but the other one exits with loss. From the outside, the difference looks like timing, right? Or luck. Or maybe the losing trader just made a bad call. But when you look closer and you see something different, the losing trader made 3 emotional decisions disguised as rational ones. He averaged when the strategy said hold, he took profits earlier because the same part of him believed he didn't deserve more. So he second guessed himself, researched, and at those critical moments, not because the research was wrong, because it was a deep subconscious voice that was telling him he was not that kind of person who wins. That voice is a belief, and that belief has a history, a source, an architecture, and it can be rebuilt, and you're not responsible for those subconscious or just unconscious thoughts. So keep that in mind. It's still not your fault. It is a belief, but not your fault. By the time you were 7 years old, your relationship with money was already formed. Not consciously, not deliberately, but formed nonetheless. By the conversations you overheard, by the way maybe your parents spoke about people who had more, by the relief of the tension in the room when bills arrived, right? Psychologists call this, financial imprint, the unconscious emotional framework that governs every money decision you will ever make unless you consciously dismantle. And here's what makes it so dangerous. The financial imprint does not announce itself. It doesn't even send you a notification like, hey bud, how you doing today? It doesn't even whisper in your ear before a trade. Remember, your father always said money is the root of all evil. It operates silently. It operates through emotion, through impulse, through feelings that some trades are too good to be true, through the guilt that surfaces every time your portfolio grows past a certain point, through a strange invisible ceiling that seems to reset wealth back to a familiar number. No matter how hard you push, Carl Jung called this the shadow, the unconscious material that drives behavior from below the surface of awareness. And here's what actually Jung also knew, and what most financial educators never teach you. You cannot overcome what you cannot see. The shadow does not weaken when you ignore it. It actually strengthens. It finds new pathways. It disguises itself as a market analysis, as a risk management, as a rational decision making. Basically, and all the while, it's pulling the strings. The first act of sovereign wealth building is not picking better assets. It's turning the light on the basement of your own mind. Hence why God mentioned this and why Jesus practiced this, showed this. Cannot understand is you're not really meant to understand things. But not putting it, I'm summarizing it. There's a reason why he said that. It's not a metaphor. It's not a neuroscience. It's something called an RAS. Basically, it's a network of neurons in your brain stem that acts as a filter for your perception. At any given moment, your senses are receiving approximately 11 million bits of information per second. Your conscious mind can process roughly about 50. The RAS decides which 50 you can see, and it makes that decision based on one thing: what your subconscious mind believes is important. If your subconscious belief is, I am not someone who builds wealth, guess what? You're just going to filter out opportunities that contradict that belief. Not because opportunities don't exist, but because your brain has not been programmed to render them visible to you. That's why two people can walk through the same room and see completely different realities, right? Clear. That's why being clear, being quiet is so important. Silence. So his RAS is basically his pattern match for growth, for asymmetric risks, for entry points aligned with strategy. A trader with a limited belief basically sees threat. His RAS is basically aligned to detect danger, to confirm loss, to find evidence that the market is actually rigged against. Market is not rigged or favored for anyone. And because the brain always finds what it's looking for, guess both of you are right at the end of the day. You're not seeing the crypto market objectively. You're actually seeing it through the lens of everything you taught about money, wealth, and what you deserve. So here's what that all means. If you can change the lens, like changing the camera, right? Different focus, you actually change how you are looking at the market, how you're studying the market. And then you can apply that to everything else. But right now we're talking about wealth framework. These are 4 belief viruses that affect almost every retail crypto investor. They are either visible, they are inherited, and they are costing you more than any bad trade ever could. Belief virus number 1, wealth is fragile. The belief sounds like it will all disappear tomorrow. It comes from watching someone maybe in your environment lose everything. And it expresses itself in crypto as panic selling in the first sign of correction. Your exit positions early because some part of you is wanting or waiting for all to collapse. You expect loss. You expect from the past history, crypto is going to do that 50% plus correction. So your body takes the first available exit before pain gets worse. Belief virus 2, I don't deserve more than I was given. You talk about effort, performance. So annoying. This is one of the most insidious and has no volume. It sits beneath every profitable trade you ever make, and it whispers, take the money and run. It creates a subconscious ceiling, wealth ceiling, actually. And you have felt before that urge to spend your gains the moment they arrive, the discomfort when your portfolio grows past a number that feels unfamiliar. That discomfort is the belief virus activated. Belief virus 3, rich people are cool. Now, before, it's a whole different conversation, right? But at the end of the day, if you grew up hearing that wealthy people are greedy, dishonest, or spiritually compromised, you have installed a protection mechanism against becoming one of them. So your subconscious mind is basically sabotaging your wealth building efforts to protect that identity that you have as a good person. It's not a weakness. It's just loyalty to a tribe, installed values in you. But those values are belief virus number. Money is hard to get and easy to lose. Belief makes every bull market feel like a test you're about to. It makes every profit feel temporary. It makes holding a winning position almost impossible, mentally impossible. Because something that is easy to lose must be captured and converted immediately before the universe God takes it back. It's not true. God doesn't take things back. actually wants you to have more of it. Keep that in mind. Thing, as long as it aligns with his, God wants you to have more of that. Anyways, now I want to be precise here, because belief reprogram is one of the most misunderstood disciplines in the personal development space. It's not affirmations, it's not downloading an app like I am affirmation, say I am this, or repeating I am wealthy in the mirror while your subconscious is broadcasting. No, you're actually not creating. It's causing something called cognitive dissonance. Jesus practiced this. You can't say you trust this. There's no meaning behind it, right? Real belief program works at the identity level, not the surface level. The difference is this. A surface level affirmation says, I make good trades. An identity level belief says, I am the kind of person who makes decisions from clarity, executes from discipline, and holds positions from conviction. Words matter. 100% words. The surface affirmation is a way. The identity belief is more of an architecture. You build architecture one structural choice at a time. Makes sense? Here is what looks like in practice. Every time you feel the urge to panic sell and you don't, you cast a vote for your new identity. Every time you hold a position that your strategy supports, despite something basically screaming at you to exit, but you don't, you cast another vote. And every time you close the app, instead of refreshing the portfolio 50 bajillion times, you cast another. And James Clear calls this the two system. I call it the sovereignty stack at the end of the day. Each vote alone means nothing, right? But 10 votes also means nothing. But 500 votes, 500 moments of choosing a new identity over the old belief. Oh, now you're shifting things at the cellular. The old architecture is starting to fall off. But it won't fall off dramatically, though, but it simply becomes structurally unsound. And one day you will realize fear is now, the ceiling is now high. The loss doesn't hit the same, not because the market changed, because you changed. So the belief audit protocol, here it is. 3 steps. Begin after you finish this video, whenever you finish this video. Appreciate you watching this video up to this point. Step 1, the belief excavation. There we go. Take her right at the top. Money. Do not think. Do not edit. Write the first 10 things that come first. First, unfiltered. Do not judge what appears on the page. What you write in the first 60 seconds is a program, not the irrational adult voice, the imprint voice, the one installed before you had the language to question it and the courage to question. Read it back. Circle it. That sounds like a warning, a limitation, a moral. How many times are we are viruses? Step 2, the origin trace. For each circle, ask one, where did I first learn? Not to analyze endless, just to see. The moment you can trace a belief back to its origin, it begins to lose its authority. It's no longer universal truth. It's someone else's that you borrowed and never returned. Go to that store and exchange that for something. You're allowed to give. Step 3, the replacement arc. For each virus belief, write its sovereign opposite, not an affirmation, an identity. Not I will be wealthy, but more of I'm a person who builds wealth through discipline, sovereign decision making. Not I deserve more, that I am a person whose value is not by the financial imprint of my. Write these in its first present tense identity level, not surface. No. Writing them before every trade session, not to manifest, but to align yourself, to remind that RAS, what to look for. In over 30 days, the filter will change. And when the filter changes, the market will look, not because it favors you, not because it's against you, because now you have changed the way you see things, especially in the market. So here's the truth in this basic what's. The sovereign portfolio is not built from better research alone. No. It's built from the sovereign mind. A mind that sees clearly because it's not filtered through. A mind that holds positions with conviction because it trusts. A mind that exists with discipline because it is not to dopamine of that truth. Most people spend their entire lives trying to build wealth with a broken. They tune their portfolio, but they never tune yourself. You cannot play symphony on an instrument that's still programmed to play music. But at the moment you pick up the and read, not dramatic, not over, but there's one belief, something extraordinary begins to happen. Trades that start to feel less desperate. You stop looking for permission from the market to feel success. You bring the feeling of sovereignty to, and the market begins to reflect. You're not trying to out a probability field. You're operating in that, or basically this is a difference between a retail investor and a sovereign. One is trying to, the other one has already decided who that be. If something stored is, or if you recognize one of those belief virtues running in your own system, do one thing right now. Drop just a number, 1, 2, 3. Active naming it is the first vote for a new arc. And if you want to keep, if you want to keep opening, that'd be great. But if you want to keep going, subscribe, because every week I break down one layer of belief system, keeping most investors and the precise to simply rewrite it. The sovereign portfolio starts in the